Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Kate Rebel's Realm. I'm Kate Rebel. Thank you so much for coming back for part 2 of the Star Piercers. Oh my goodness, oh my gosh. Are you guys ready? We get to do Araka. We get to do Nyx. I am so pumped and jazzed. We get to see Calypso and how much she hated Mari. This migraine is so kicking my butt right now. You can see how like one of my eyes won't open. I'm like, hello, how's it going everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day. We are starting the video off with Aspen, the roaring javelin. Hear that stampede? Aspen draws near. His javelin pierces multiple enemies. The roaring javelin, that is not thunder, little one. That is the sound of the one who will save us. Centaur mother of the Denzo Prairie. Once a wild, illustrious region inhabited by the Taya's centaurs. The heavily rated Denzo Prairie is now as parched for optimism as its shrubs are for fresh water. But as sure as the rains eventually come with the sounds of thunder, hope shall return in the form of Aspen, the roaring javelin. The centaurs of Taya are an incredibly proud race, famous for their strength and bound to a rigid culture that often renders them willfully ignorant of the wider world. This has made them vulnerable to exploitation from slavers, raiders, and colonizers. Aspen is one of the many renowned centaurs still drawing breath, and though he would never openly draw attention to his past, the collage of tattoos adorning his body tell a mosaic tale of a life sculpted through adversity and hardship. As a whole, the Stoic Centaur's markings depict a story of lost nobility, shame, and revenge. The oldest indicates that he was the son of a great chieftain, while one nearby implies that he was captured or sold into slavery in brutal fashion. A third marking, a homecoming tattoo, implies that he fought himself free and returned home. His most important etching, however, is one of defiance. During Aspen's time in captivity, his homeland was taken over by violent foreign missionaries, intent on bending the will of the centaurs, conforming them to the new ways of the world while exploiting their raw power. Upon discovering his kin in such a subservient state, Aspen made it his life mission to restore his kind to their former unbridled glory, that they might roam the Denzo Prairie in peace once more. But peace rarely comes without bloodshed. Working alone at first, Aspen began conducting guerrilla raids with his mighty javelin, freeing the other centaurs one by one until he'd amassed a following whose stampeding force would be heard for leagues in any direction. Now a paragon of liberation, his space left upon his muscled frame for one final tattoo, that which depicts freedom. Listen closely for his thunderous hooves, and be sure to stay on the smart end of his javelin. He's kind of cool, I guess. I don't really have much to say. That kind of felt like a repeat of so many different stories, but hey, you know what? The tattoos that all literally look the same have such meaning to him, and that's beautiful. Nyx, one of my favorite heroes in the game. This vampire did the unthinkable and fell for a werewolf. Eee! We are each other's secret. Deimos. While forbidden love as a concept is not novel in itself, the intricacies of a tryst involving a werewolf and Nyx, daughter of blood, are the stuff of legends. Eloquent, thank you. I love stuff of legends. Stuff and things. Born a vampiric noble, Nyx's early life was fraught with crippling complacency. Disinterested in politics or the frills that came with her status, Nyx trained as an elite assassin from a young age. Her training was beyond arduous, and Nyx was given no mercy from her instructors despite her privileged position. She excelled in marksmanship, particularly dagger throwing. Nyx spent many late nights practicing with the werewolves that lived in the mansion. Plucked from the wilds, these werewolves had been broken through the torture and turned into beasts of labor. Nyx was raised to look down on the Lupin servants, but eventually she saw them in a different light. When one of the most notorious werewolves went rogue, Nyx finally received her first mark as an assassin. Deimos, the blood hunter. Her orders were simple: find him and kill him. After stalking Deimos for several nights, Nyx finally caught up to the beast in a moonlit grove, but he'd been waiting for her. Springing from the tree line, Deimos attacked Nyx with a startling ferocity. Though matched in prowess, the enemies failed to realize that they'd stumbled into the territory of a great ogre. It seized Nyx from behind, crushing her in its steel grip. Deimos could have fled into the woods. Instead, he cut the vampire free, and the pair took down the ogre together. Nyx questioned why he'd chosen to save her, but Deimos only offered her a look of sorrow, a lifetime of torture reflected in his eyes. Before bounding into the woods, he left her with these words, "Because I know what it's like to be crushed into helplessness." Nyx found herself unable to rend Deimos' words from her mind. He wasn't the monster she believed him to be. Instead of returning home, she tracked the werewolf down once more. This time, Nyx's blade stayed sheathed. Her mind opened first, followed by her heart, and the two have been inseparable ever since. This showed that, yes, you were raised to believe that they were vermin, but you went to kill one and you fell in love because he saved your life? I want more. I wanted more than that. It's okay. They're in love. That's all that matters. Calypso, the mind piercer, a mysterious siren of the deep. If her arrows don't pierce you, her summoned seal stones will spell your end. Let's see why she hates Mari so much. There are worse things than monsters creeping beneath the waves. Sea Captain. Daughter of a merfolk king, Calypso the Mind Piercer is as mysterious as the depths of the sea itself. Unlike most merfolk, famously insular and suspicious of outsiders, she'd always been driven by curiosity made more intense by arrogance and entitlement. Due to her privileged position, Calypso felt she was too good to associate with other merfolk. While exploring an outer reef, she met a peculiar human named Mari. As humans are rare beneath Tia's seas, Calypso was immediately intrigued, the two becoming fast friends. Born to different currents, the pair grew inseparable as they matured together beneath the waves. Being that Mari had no family to speak of, Calypso introduced her to the merfolk. Uncertain as to how she'd be received, Mari's fears were quickly assuaged as the merfolk welcomed her warmly. Goadingly, Calypso took every opportunity to show off her unique companion until their friendship took a turn. Though Mari never purposefully outdid Calypso, the merfolk naturally gravitated towards her kind heart and gentle demeanor. Even Calypso's father began to view Mari as a second daughter, one whose manners were more befitting of a princess. The dagger came when she was selected to serve as a priestess of a sacred coral shrine, an honor Calypso was hoping to attain herself. Sensing jealousy, Mari suggested a swim to where they first met, hoping to make amends. After traveling in silence, Calypso erupted, her anger and envy pouring out like a geyser. Taken aback, Mari attempted to respond when both were suddenly stopped in their tracks by the haunting melodies of two distinct songs, one from the northern seas and one from the south. They listened closely as the dueling songs furthered the rift between them. The stoic northern song sang of honor, duty, even sadness, while the enchanting yet eerie southern song promised power, domination, and glory. One might easily guess which song Calypso drifted toward. Try as she might, Mari could not dissuade her scorned friend from traveling south to find the source. It was the last time Calypso was seen whole. Twisted by the vile and deceitful southern song, somewhere in the darkest depths, Calypso now serves an unknown entity of immense oceanic power, cursing her people and former friend, vying to enact revenge. Ew, do you think this is what they're like, this is what she looked like, look out for Calypso, but we don't actually know what she looks like anymore? She's all mangled. So that was basically the same as Mari's story, but it gave a little bit more insight as to why Calypso was so angry with Mari. And I mean, I understand completely. That would really suck. Everyone likes her more than you, even your own father. Ivar, the Forest Sentinel. One can only conjecture some truths from Ivar's unique combat style, with mysterious roots trailing back a millennium. Okay, Ivar, let's read your story. Please do not shoot those things at me. Go that direction. Thank you. The Forest Sentinel. The forest has eyes that make one tread with reverence. should they wish to emerge alive. Laurel. Legend has it that tucked away in the deepest reaches of the Blackroot Bog lives one of Taya's most seasoned hunters. Reclusive, enigmatic, and silent as the night, Ivar, the forest sentinel, earned his reputation not through any type of showmanship or overt displays of heroism, but rather by his demonstrated loyalty to nature and methodical mastery of the bow. Though his exact origins are unclear, Ivar has roamed Taya for centuries and is presumed to bear some type of connection with Taya's spirit of the forest, the mother tree. Known only to appear by the light of the moon, Ivar's presence is exceedingly rare and few have ever encountered him in the wild. Yet his watchful gaze and penetrating powers of observation, symbolized by the eyes of a fallen serpent god inlaid in his armor, are widely acknowledged. Millennia ago, following the collapse of a Scalekin kingdom, all magic harnessed by the civilization soon flowed back into the land, forming a myriad of savage beasts which grew unprecedentedly ferocious and aggressive. Ryx, the two-headed serpent demigod, was among such beasts. When desecrated shrines of the fallen kingdom generated into altars of cultist worship for Ryx, it was Ivar who dutifully stepped forth, clad in ironwood armor, with his ancient great bow at hand. Ryx was incensed by such impotence, but he underestimated Ivar's resolve. For the lone fae was equipped with a quiver of massive sword projectiles, one which could penetrate through the serpent's carapace-like scales and pierce its heart. The demigod hissed and croaked as the blades mutilated its body, its blood and toxins being sprayed across the walls of the altar. As it slithered in its own entrails, Ivar removed the head of the serpent, placed it upon the altar, and proceeded to gouge out one of its eyes, inlaying them into his crown, gauntlets, and great bows. This was a message for those who sought to upend Taya's natural balance, tread lightly and with caution. With forces of darkness now ever impending in Taya, rumors of the forest sentinel's return are whispered in undertones. Will the darkness ever be eradicated, or is this too another natural cycle in Taya? Like, I understand that you want everything to be, with nature and like the flow of it all, but did you have to go so gruesome with it? You went, yeah, I made sure his entrails were all over the place, and then I dragged his head up to the altar and cut his eyes out? Dude. We are finishing up the Star Piercers today with my favorite lord, Araka. This terrifying spider matron devours all manner of juicy prey, uses toxins and webs to slow her targets, the Crimson Widow. Into her web. Araka, queen of spiders, is a void of death, darkness, and danger, much like the Weaver Cave over which she rules. Yet she is elegant, mysterious, and strangely alluring in ways much like the most venomous of spiders. Quite what Araka is may not be entirely clear, but she was almost certainly human at one point. Long, long ago, Araka is said to have been the wife of a poor farmer who regularly spent all his money on drink and gambling. This farmer was indebted to many moneylenders, and Araka knew that before long her husband would leave her penniless and ruined. She prayed for a solution that came to her in the form of a vision. A mighty, blacker-than-black spider appeared in her mind's eye and declared itself to be the spirit of the Weaver, the dreaded lady spider god that had eaten her own young and then herself. Disappearing from the realm of mortals, she told her that she would help Araka out of pity in exchange for her acting as the vessel of her return to Taya, yet a sacrifice was needed. Then they would conquer the world together. The sacrifice was obvious. She would need to kill her husband. If she did so, the Weaver said, there would be a great reward. And so, that night when her husband slept in yet another drunken stupor, she slipped a venomous spider into his ear, which bit him, killing him after hours of torment. Araka fled the farm and took to worshipping spiders as she came to slowly resemble one. This murder destroyed her human soul, and she grew to enjoy the act of killing. She was granted power over spiders and could command them to do as she wished. The dark voice inside her ordered her to travel from town to town and kill in exchange for mightier powers, and so she did, sending spiders to attack her victims. She developed her own venom, span webs, and commanded an army of spiders as she became more spider than human. Yet before her transformation was complete and she grew too powerful, warriors from the Free Federation chased her into the Weaver Cave. Here she remains banished, twisted in the darkness, an aspect of the Dark Weaver in the flesh, determined to use the power she was promised to spread death and fill the veins of her enemies with venom. That is like my worst fear, for a spider to crawl into my ear? No, that's awful. And the fact that it wasn't just like, okay, I'll just kill him. She's like, I'll put a spider in his ear so he slowly dies of torture and torment. This girl, she was like, I am sick of fetching eggs in the morning from our dirty chickens, making bacon and eggs for you in the morning while you're hungover and angry. Well, she ain't Spider-Gwen, that's for sure. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We are now done with the star piercers and we're gonna be on to the next day. I don't even know what day it is today. Who even knows? Who's to say? Who's even watching right now? I have no idea. So leave comments down below. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about who your favorite hero was in this faction. And thank you so much for watching. This is Kate Rebel's Realm. I am Kate Rebel, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for coming back for part... I have a hair on my arm. Who would like to purchase this hair? It's $50. This one's scary, Mom. Mommy, I thought you were gonna save us, not some scary man. I feel like 50 is okay because that's like part of my genetic gene structure. You could make a clone. Genetic gene structure. Anyway.